Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Tropical Edition. Great to have you here with me. We're going to be looking at Tropical Storm Philippe. This system is going to be our predominant tropical weather maker the next several days, affecting the Leeward Islands over the next couple days with tropical storm force conditions. Heavy rains. We'll look at all the impacts. Storm is likely to become a hurricane later this week as it meanders towards the north. Could it be impacting Bermuda, Southeast Canada, or the Azores? We'll take a look at all the details on where this storm could be headed and the rest of your tropics here for any potential problems. Also, towards the middle of the month, the second week of October, could we be looking at a crossover hurricane here from the Eastern Pacific? We'll look at the chances of that happening, along with a big area of high pressure here across Eastern North America that could be bringing summer-like conditions for the East here this week, and potentially some severe weather here to the southern plains. Let's get into it. Tropical Storm Philippe here just east of the Lesser Antilles. It almost looks like it's going a little bit farther to the south here. Some wind shear affecting it. But look what's going to be happening. The Leeward Islands really going to be getting on the act the next couple days here. The system does have a lot of convection, and it will be on the up as it strengthens. All right, so starting off with the European model here, there is that area of low pressure that caused all that flooding on Friday to the New York City and surrounding areas. That is going to be a fading memory as it heads out, but here is our system, Tropical Storm Philippe. Yeah, this system is going to be meandering around the Leeward Islands. You can see here what the European model is showing. Here's the Leeward Islands right here. There's Puerto Rico. And here's the Lesser Antilles. Even some showers as far south here as Trinidad and Tobago. So we'll just zoom in just a little bit here, zoom in out, I should say, so we can actually get a better feel for what this system's going to be doing. So 2 p.m. on, this is Monday afternoon, the 2nd. So this system's actually showing a little bit east of guidance, but nevertheless, we're still seeing a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity. European model's a little bit faster here. I'll show you the GFS momentarily, but you can see 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning, October 3rd, systems heading off just to the north here, northeast of the Leeward Islands. So you can see some showers and thunderstorms going to be continuing. I'll show you those rainfall amounts momentarily. Here we head into the 3rd. You start to see there's some stalling going on here, and that's going to help bring up some tropical moisture here across the Lesser Antilles and the Leeward Islands. So watch out, prolonged period of heavy rain, potential tropical storm type impacts here. And this system really slowly chugging to the north as we head towards 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning. You can see where it is with respect to the Leeward Islands here. Take a look at that. So this will be a strengthening system. Do expect it to become a hurricane by the middle of this week. Now watch what starts to happen with this system as it starts to push just east of Hamilton, Bermuda here. You can see there is an area of high pressure. There's still a chance this could bend westward, but right now it looks like this high pressure is on the retreat to the northeast. Now watch how this plays here. Initially, the system slows down again right where Rina is at. And Rina is going to be a fading memory here before too long. So there's not much to talk about with Rina here, as whatever energy is left with her will get absorbed by Philippe, a meandering low pressure system. So look what starts to happen out here. European model pushing this a bit farther east on this run, particularly because you have the high pressure retreating to the northeast. And then here to the north here, right over Nova Scotia, we have a big area of low pressure. You can see it right here. Plenty of moisture funneling into that. So it's all going to be about timing here. This could end up being a little bit farther to the west. So something we need to keep an eye on from Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. Don't think New England's going to get on this. I mean, it could. They're still pretty far out, but you can see how the low pressure starts to push this up towards Newfoundland towards October 9th. So here's the U.S. East Coast. Here's Southeast Canada. You see the system trying to make a run here. Let me just zoom out so you can see the entire Atlantic at this time. We got another disturbance over here by the Azores that really can't go anywhere, so we'll continue to watch for that as well. But look at this. It does try to make a run right up towards Newfoundland. This run puts it just east, but I do caution you, each run has been kind of back and forth. Some runs as far west as eastern Nova Scotia, but Newfoundland, definitely want to keep an eye on this, even if you're in Southeast Canada. Wouldn't hurt to keep an eye on this as well in Bermuda or even the Azores, because I'll show you momentarily what the GFS is doing with this. The rest of the tropics, if we just put this into motion, I wanted to show you what's going on here. Behind Philippe, things do get a little bit more quieter here. We still have some tropical wave activity moving through the Caribbean here, as you can see through October 7th. There are a few areas here from Trinidad, Tobago, the Lesser Antilles, the Leeward Islands. We still have a few tropical waves out here in the Cape Verde region as well that we'll be keeping an eye on. So still, hurricane season is not over yet. We need to be vigilant. There's still time for more systems to develop. You see by October 9th here, there is a system just south of Hispaniola, Haiti area, Dominican Republic. That's heading towards the Jamaica area towards the 10th. So still up in the air as far as tropics. We don't want to turn a blind eye yet, because look what's coming off the coast. We got a few more tropical waves out here, which could actually develop. And look what's going on over here in the Pacific. I'm going to show you momentarily on the GFS. Some of this actually could try to cross over into the Gulf towards the middle of October. That's something we need to keep a very close eye on. So as we take a look at the GFS here, the Leeward Islands, you can see the GFS is going to take this a little bit east of guidance here as we head into Monday. Look at this. Heavier showers and thunder showers continue to develop here across the Leeward Islands. We're continuing to have some major issues here with heavy rainfall, wave action. Even though the GFS taking this well east of guidance, look at all the tropical moisture associated with this system. So we're going to be really socked in once this moves in later Sunday into Sunday night here into Monday. Look at this as we head on into Tuesday. Look what happens. The center of circulation, this isn't a very weak steering current environment here. There's not much to move this, so it actually retrogrades a little bit towards the south here, towards the Leeward Islands. So we're going to be dealing with this storm for quite a while. Tropical storm impacts will be felt here in the Leeward Islands. Lots of tropical moisture, very heavy rains. That's going to continue. I'll go over those rainfall amounts momentarily. We get into Wednesday morning here. The storm finally starts to move towards the northeast here, but look at this. We're still dealing with heavy shower action. Now, if you go further south here towards Trinidad, Tobago, northward here towards the Central Islands, you're mostly in the clear here with some scattered shower potential. It's the Leeward Islands up here that are going to have, bear the full brunt of this. And how is Puerto Rico looking? Well, you're kind of on the outer western periphery of this system, so you're getting a little lucky here. You'll see some scattered showers. Look at this. Even though the storm is up here by Thursday, October 5th, we're still dragging this. Lots of deep tropical moisture here through the Leeward Islands. That is kind of crazy if you think about it, because the storm's way up here. This has got a lot of moisture with it, big circulation. Now look what starts to happen with the GFS as we get into the 6th and the 7th. This becomes a full-blown hurricane at this point. Still a blocking high up here just south of Newfoundland, but watch what happens. Here's the east coast of the United States over here. There's Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and then Newfoundland here. Take a look at this. We continue to see this high pressure retreat towards the east. As it does so, though, it seems like Philippe kind of moves due east at this point. Let's see, and that continues on eastward. We'll have to watch for potential Azores impact here, but by this time it's becoming extratropical, and it seems to be moving off towards the northwest here. Now, look what starts to happen here on the GFS. Towards the 13th. This is the middle part of the month. You have a lot of tropical activity here in the Eastern Pacific, which I'll go over momentarily. Eastern Pacific definitely waking up. You start to see some of this energy breaking off here into the Central and Western Gulf. Look what starts to happen around the 11th, the 12th. We might have a tropical system developing here in the Gulf of Mexico. Look at all this deep tropical moisture. We might be dealing with something here across the Gulf. So for those of you that thought the Gulf was off the hook at this point, look what starts to happen towards Friday the 13th here into the 14th. We might be looking at a tropical system here across the western, the central, and eventually the eastern Gulf. Plenty of tropical moisture regardless here, and that kind of moves towards the east, signifying potentially a weakening system, but we'll have to keep an eye on it here. And look at this, plenty of rainfall here across the Western Caribbean towards the middle of October. So total liquid equivalent precipitation here across the Western Caribbean. As you see through this weekend into early next week, it doesn't look like much across Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, but we get towards Wednesday, the 4th, 5th, and 6th of next week, we'll pile on about 70 to as much as 90 millimeters of rainfall, especially in Jamaica area. That'll pile on about 3.5 inches of rain. As we get to the eastern Caribbean islands here, take a look at this. Trinidad and Tobago remain pretty dry, but look at here towards the Leeward Islands, Lesser Antilles, as we head into Monday, Tuesday. Look at the amount of rainfall we're opening up next week with potential Philippe heading pretty close here, upwards of 90 to 110 millimeters. That is on the ballpark of about 3 to as much as 4.5 inches of rain. And the eastern Pacific here, this is what I wanted to show you before I show you the GFS. Here's that big hurricane area just blowing up here off the resort towns of Mexico. Take a look at this. This is pretty far out. This is beyond the 200-hour mark, but the GFS is showing something very similar just south of Acapulco and bringing it ashore and then right over into the Gulf. So this is something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on out here. And then here into the Western Pacific, let's just back our timeline up here. This is our Typhoon Koinu here. This system's going to be heading towards the west. Let's take a look here. It looks like Taiwan, especially the southern tip of Taiwan, is under the threat here, potentially becoming a very strong typhoon here up towards 120, 125 mile per hour by October 4th here, and then bending towards South China and becoming primarily a massive flood event by this point. So yeah, we're going to be watching this potential. It looks like it's going to comfortably pass just to the north of the northern Philippines, but still keep an eye on because these things can change. And look what's hanging out just behind it by this point, October 9th. I'll show you on the GFS. It's actually a little bit further to the south, but this could actually be our next named system. And we're going to start lining up these tropical systems out here into the Western Pacific. Now, showing you across the Eastern Pacific here for the GFS, look what happens here. Yeah, we start to see a lot of activity as we get towards the 3rd into the 4th, potentially a hurricane here. There's some high probability of development here over the next several days. Now watch what the GFS does. Yeah, this hurricane heading out over the open Pacific here, but we have a few more waves developing by the 7th. Look at this one. This one coming pretty close to the coast here as we go out in time towards October 11th. Plenty of time to watch it, but coastal resort towns, keep an eye on this, because this could be a full-blown hurricane making landfall across the South Mexican coast, or it could parallel and move up along the coastline. But look at this. As we continue in time, if this does make landfall near Acapulco, this is right around the 11th into the 12th, look at all the tropical moisture that would be feeding into the Gulf of Mexico as well. Something we definitely need to keep a close eye on, because if this does make landfall in Acapulco, this would be devastating. You can see there, it's right around the 12th and the 13th, and the moisture would move east. Could it actually hold together and move into the Gulf? That's something we got to keep an eye on. Another hurricane out here by the middle of October. Now, if we go into the Western Pacific here, we got something going on here. Let's just rewind this. Here we go. We have Typhoon Koinu here. That system is going to be heading towards the west-northwest. You can see potentially affecting the northern Philippines. Here's the October 4th into, it's right around the 4th into the 5th. It could affect parts of southern Taiwan. Plenty of moisture affecting all of Taiwan at this point. I think the system will eventually head towards South China as we head towards the 7th and the 8th later in the week here. And we could potentially have some flooding problems as well. Look what replaces it here back on the 9th. So things are really going to start to pick up here in the Pacific. Could this actually make landfall in the northern Philippines? This is a bit disturbing. Look what happens here. This could be a potentially devastating typhoon here towards right around the 11th into the 12th of October. And look at that, showing it re-strengthening. And could it actually come up back towards the north, towards China, or eventually Taiwan? Look at it. It's recurving here on the base of this trough, you can see. Look at this. Are we just going to start lining them up out here in the Western Pacific? It's a possibility This is something we need to keep an eye on. This looks like a super typhoon by the middle of October. Still plenty of time to watch it. Things could change. So as we take a look at our future radar here, starting out with your Sunday evening, let's take a look, see what's going on here. It's mainly South Florida that you got the shower and thunderstorm activity. That's going to be pushing to your south across the Florida Keys, as you can see. Lots of tropical moisture hung up down here across the Gulf, parts of the Bahamas. So, high pressure is going to be the dominant feature. I want to show you up here in Canada. Look at this big mesoscale convective feature way up here in Ontario. Yeah, we're actually seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms up here into parts of Canada. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Is that actually going to drop south? Well, it looks like it is. Wow. Most of the eastern United States, except for the Rockies, there's the trough in the Pacific Northwest, giving you lots of rainfall out here as well, clouds and rain. But look at Quebec here. Yeah, this system is going to be dropping to the south. It will be weakening. That's the good news. But it's bringing some beneficial rains to those areas that were hard hit earlier this year by those wildfires. High pressure in control. Look what's starting, though, across Monday evening and Monday night. A big severe weather outbreak. This is going to encompass everything from, look at that, the northern, central, and western plains here. Into western Texas. So watch out, severe weather potential, maybe even some tornadoes here. That weakens as we go throughout the evening into the early morning hours of Tuesday. You can see that kind of lifts to the north, at least into 2 p.m., but we'll be watching parts of the southern plains, especially as we head on into Tuesday for that severe weather, especially during the evening hours. High pressure just continuing to be in control across the east. So some North American weather for Canada and the United States. Let's take a look here. We're going to start off with a big area of low pressure here across the northern plains, south central Canada. That's going to weaken and slide to the northeast, become kind of a marginal system. I want to make note here, the big theme is going to be 2 areas of high pressure, one over Hudson Bay, Canada, and one right over the eastern United States. We will have, a big trough out west here, so your weather's going to be very stormy out here. But I want to caution you here across the southern and central plains, you're going to be looking at some bouts of severe weather. Some of that might actually make it up here into south central Canada as we head into Tuesday. So watch out for that. A big cold front here across the plains. You see some of that getting into Ontario, Canada here. But for the most part, the biggest weather is going to be in 2 areas. Here, one in the southern plains of the U.S. Watch out for those strong to severe thunderstorms. And then up here into parts of western Ontario, definitely want to watch out. I think we could see some showers and maybe some embedded stronger storms here. Now, as we head into the 5th here, October 5th, you can see this area of low pressure is getting pretty elongated. You got this big area of upper level low across Hudson Bay. But you see this trailing front. It is heading into a big area of high pressure. This also extends southwestward here. So you're still going to be dealing with severe weather here across parts of southern and eastern Texas as we get into October 5th and 6th. Look, you might actually get some wet weather here into parts of the Ohio Valley as we head on into the evening of October 5th. So right around, Thursday evening here, could be looking at some showers from Toledo, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Buffalo, London, Ontario. Definitely want to watch out. That front heading east for 11 a.m. on Friday. It's kind of washing out across the south with the exception for South Texas here. We could see some big gully washers and some stronger thunderstorms. High pressure is building in across the west as we get a trough kicking, or a ridge kicking the trough out to the east. So the weather pattern is going to start to change towards next weekend as you can start to see the evidence here of a trough kind of setting up shop here across eastern North America. Look at that, Ontario and especially Quebec getting much stormier. Clouds and precipitation moving into parts of the northeast as well. As we hit into next weekend, we could see an area of low pressure really start to develop, and this could actually put big heavy rains here across parts of upstate New York, northeast Pennsylvania, all the way up into Quebec area. Montreal, Quebec City. We'll be watching out here for the potential for some very heavy rains. That moves to the north towards New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. As we head into October 7th and October 8th, that system potentially merging with our hurricane by this point, Philippe. So high pressure building, and again, behind that high pressure, look at that. Not a lot of weather as we head into the second full week of October. And here's a quick word from my affiliate. Stay with me here. I've got plenty more weather right after this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. MeteoMarine CFS climate model here. This week, Ridge is in control. Watch what happens towards October 7th, though, the next weekend here. Trough kicking across the east here. We'll see some unsettled weather. But later that week, towards Friday the 13th, October here, Ridge starting to build in again. So we're going to have a very variable pattern here. Look at this. Towards the middle of the month, though, the pattern really breaks down. We see a massive trough across the east and a big ridge developing out west. So we're really socked in here with this blocking pattern across Greenland. Looks more indicative here of a wintertime pattern. But look at that. As we get towards the end of October, a ridge tries to kick in across the east until right around October 31st, where we see another massive trough. So taking a look at liquid equivalent precipitation here, look at the eastern part of the country as we go all the way through Thursday, October 5th. There's almost nothing. If you look, the big winner for rainfall totals is Texas, at least through Friday here. Look at this. We're seeing anywhere from 2.5, 3.5, maybe 4 inches of rain here in north central, northeast Texas. Look at this. So this is bringing some beneficial rains to the area. I know many of you have wanted this rain, but look what happens across the east next weekend. Yeah, we get this low pressure system that's dropping in here from the north, and we could see an area of enhanced rain. And as we zoom in here on the northeast, look at Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes, all the way through Thursday. There's no rain until there's Cleveland area for Friday. Late Thursday night and Friday, there will be some rain showers dropping in here, maybe a rumble of thunder. That pushes into late Friday night and Saturday. This is where that enhanced rainfall really sets up. We're going to be watching for the potential for this area of low pressure really forming, ramping up here. From Harrisburg, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Binghamton, Utica, all the way up to Saranac Lake here, Burlington, Vermont, may end up being the bullseye here. Anywhere from 2, 3.5 inches, all the way up close to 4+ inches of rain. Something to keep an eye on here. Temperature-wise here across the country, if we take a look Monday through Friday here, look at this. The heat is building across the midsection and parts of the Midwest here. It's even stretching into parts of western Ohio here into the mid to upper 80s. But look at where the temperatures are going to be building across the Northeast too, right around 80 and upper 70s in most areas. Out west, the temperatures are breaking down. As we head into Tuesday, October 3rd, this heat begins to spread east. You can see those 80s and even some 90s here stretching all the way up to Illinois. So that's going to be pretty remarkable. Mid-80s into the Northeast here. And those temperatures just continue to build. Look at that, 86 in Rochester, 82 in Cleveland, 85 in Columbus, Ohio here. This is looking crazy. 85 in Wilkes-Barre. That is a lot of warmth for October here. And as we watch into Thursday, that continues to spread east. But look what's happening here across the northern plains. That cool down is coming here across the lakes in the Northeast. And we start to push that through Michigan towards Friday here. And take a look at this into the Northeast. We're holding on to some 70s, but watch for next Saturday here. Yeah. Look at all these 60s here, the 60-degree line pushing pretty far south here. And look at these 50s to the north. Extended outlook from our hometown viewers, Binghamton, Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Here we go, Monday through Friday. Sunny all 4 days, 4 out of 5 days here. Friday, the chance of showers. The big story, though, is going to be the heat. It's going to be unseasonably warm for the first part of October here, getting up towards the mid to potentially maybe the upper 80s by Wednesday here. Look at this, sunny skies abundant. If you have the week off, really enjoy it. Friday, that next frontal boundary moving in, showers potentially heading downhill for the weekend. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MeteoMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes out.